example, it promotes the superior performance by providing an organized framework through which organization can learn how the best in class do things. In the sense, benchmarking, it just promotes the best performance from our side, and how it does, it provides some framework through which industry can learn how the best in class is doing the things, how the best industry is doing the things, and it will make the organization understand how the best practices differ from their own. That means that the best practices of the Tata Motors and the best practices of us, how do they differ? That is that can be understood by the organizations by having the benchmarking in place. And once we have got to know that Tata Motors and XYZ company practices are differing, we have got some gap, and that the gap can be fulfilled, that gap can be closed by implementing the change, right? What are the changes to be brought in, or what are the changes should be made so that the gap of our gap between our practices and the best in class practices can be closed? That can be possible by the benchmarking. And very important is that the main essence, the major essence of benchmarking is in the process of borrowing ideas. It is not just borrowing ideas, but also once the ideas are borrowed, they should be adopted. Okay, borrowing ideas and adopting them so that it is possible for an organization to gain some competitive advantage, I was telling you. And finally, for the introduction, I can say that benchmarking is a tool for continuous improvement. It may be process improvement, it may be product improvement, or it is overall improvement. I'm not just stating here benchmarking is a tool for continuous process improvement. Rather, I am saying it is a tool for continuous improvement. That means you'll have to understand it is the overall improvement. For continuous overall improvement, benchmarking is good. Benchmarking is a good tool, we can say. And you must also understand where and all, which are all the type of the companies that are using the benchmarking tool or benchmarking concept. Is both manufacturing and service organizations are making use of the benchmarking technique, and that includes, the examples may include Xerox company, Ford company, BMW, General Motors, Toyota, that is Toyota, and all these companies are making use of the, like they have the benchmarking in place. I'll tell you what is the best practice they are doing and what is the best benchmark they have got. Okay, that means what we will have to follow from which organization. Cambridge is known for timings, otherwise uniform, example uniform. So all other colleges in Bengaluru may look for the disciplined uniform that is followed by Cambridge. And MS Ramaiah is known for research. So all of the engineering colleges in Bengaluru may take the information of research from MS Ramaiah. And RV is known for placements. So that is their best thing they have. RV is best in placement, MS Ramaiah is best in research, Cambridge is best in some other research or something. So that should be followed by other colleges. What is best in that college, that should be followed. So that is the meaning of here. Okay, what is best in the other competitors, that must be taken and that must be adopted. Okay, and what are the companies have named here? Ford, Toyota, BMW, General Motors, Xerox company, AT&T. All these companies have got their one of the best. Maybe one company is best in process, one company is best in designing, one company is best in some other thing. I'll just go with the PPT so that I can tell you there exactly what they are best in. Okay, but you must also understand that benchmarking is a common element of quality standard. It is very important. Benchmarking is a element for quality standard. and quality standard speaks everything. You know that, right? Now, uh, and I used to take more often the name of the Malcolm Bridge National Quality Award. That award also has a benchmarking reserve, in the sense some of the marks or some of the credits to give that award, they will see the benchmarking level of the particular organization. Okay, so let's move on with, you understood, right? What do you mean by benchmarking? So let us define what is benchmarking. Here, what is benchmarking? They have written something, you just go through. It is possible to rotate the screen. Yeah. I'm just trying to rotate the screen. Stay with me. What happened? Oh, yeah, probably the screen is little bigger for you if I keep the phone in the landscape mode like this. Yeah, let us try to define what is benchmarking here. You can just go through the lines what is been written here. That is a process of improving performance by continuously identifying, understanding, and adapting outstanding practices found inside and outside the organization. Very important to have a notice on inside and outside the organization. It is not true that we always look outside the organization for some best practices. It is possible for us to look for the best practices and the best standard inside the organization also. I will let you know what do you mean by inside and outside the organization. And these are the lines which are defining and which are telling us what do you mean by benchmarking. We can also define the benchmarking in other ways also. It is a systematic search. Yes, benchmarking is a search for the best practices, the best innovative ideas, and highly effective operating procedures. Let me repeat this. Benchmarking is a search. It is a search for innovative ideas, search for best practices, and search for highly effective operating procedures. Okay, that is exactly benchmarking. And benchmarking considers the experience of others, right? When we are taking one factor from RV, that is they are good in placement, we have to just see that their experience, right? It is the experience of others, and we use their experience when it is required for us. Okay, for that reason they says that benchmarking considers the experience of others and using it when it is needed. Indeed, it is the common sense of proposition. It is the common sense of proposition to learn from others. Yeah, when we are comparing ourselves with the other best in the field, we just learning from them, we just understanding how they are doing and what they are doing. And uh, if it is good, we are learning from others, we just come to know how they do the right things, and how they are avoiding the wrong things, so that we do not need to reinvent it again. From their experience only we are coming to know that what is good and what is not good, so it is not required for us to reinvent something. Okay, and uh, you just have understood what do you mean by benchmarking, the definition of the benchmarking. Here it is saying that it is a process of improving performance. Yes, it is a process of improving performance by continuously identifying, understanding, and adopting outstanding practices. It is not just practices, it is the innovative ideas also, as well as the highly effective operating procedure also found inside and outside the organization. When it is inside the organization, we must see that when particular process is measured inside the organization, that should be compared with the other process, other similar process in the organization. That means when mechanical is doing a particular event, that is a conduction of some workshop, it can just measure the performance of that workshop with the performance of the workshop conducted by the electronics department. So who was the best? If they were the best, if their practice were best, those practices must be made used in our uh, department workshop also. That is the meaning of the inside. Okay, the outstanding practices, the innovative ideas, and the highly effective operating procedures. If they are found inside the organization also, we can just compare ours. We can just measure our performance with the others inside the organization only. Otherwise, outside the organization, maybe other competitors of ours can be compared with, and can be just have the comparison. Okay, that is the benchmarking. And again, here a little explicitly showing you what is benchmarking. It is a process of comparing one's business processes and performance metrics to industry best. Very important. When we focus, stay focused, guys. Here we are saying that metrics, a word called as the metrics. Metrics are usually represented numerically. Correct. That is on 1 to 5 scale or 1 to 10 scale, otherwise on the percentage, 1 to 100 percentage. Okay. How do we measure our performance? To measure our performance, we need to have some basic units of measuring it. Okay. What is the basic unit are we making use to measure our performance when compared to the others? And to have that basic measure, a basic unit of measure, we are just following the metrics. And metrics is almost every time it is represented or expressed with the help of the numerical numbers. Okay. And what is the metrics of the Tata Motors? They are having on 1 to 10 scale, they are always standing at 9, but we are standing at 3 or 4. How do we improve our 4 metric to 9 metric as similar with the Tata Motors? That is the what benchmarking. Okay, and how it can be done? Why are others better when compared to we? They are better. Why they are better? That questions will be answered by benchmarking. That means when we want to see that ourselves better than others or ourselves better equally as they are, we need to have the complete study, like why are others better. We'll have to study them, for what reason they are better, how are others better, again how, what are the, like how are they working, how are they using the processes, or how are they making use of other infrastructure so that they has become better. What can we learn? Yes, exactly. uh, by knowing why others are better and how others are better, it is possible for us to learn what is required for us from them. How can we catch up? Like what is the pace with which they are going, or what is the level at which they are standing? Are we able to catch up? If we can, or if we want to catch up, how can we catch up? That can be possible by benchmarking. And how can we become the best in our sector? If we are doing, that is we are the education providers as a institute, how can we become best in our sector? Yes, we need to become very good at the research. We should be very good at providing the placement, and we should be very good at providing the tuition, that is the teachers who teach you. If all these cases, if all these issues are addressed best when compared with the other institutes, our institutes will become best in our sector. Okay, that is the that is possible by having a systematic method that is known as the benchmarking. Next, we'll move on to, again that's giving the many uh, understanding to know what do you mean by benchmarking. It is an improvement process that is used to identify best practice within a peer group and facilitate its incorporation into your organization. That is, when we have a peer group and when we got to know their best practice, we should be incorporating their best practice into our organization. Okay, and that is possible by having a benchmarking. And when benchmarking allows study the best practices, provides the greatest opportunity for gaining strategic, operational, and financial advantage. That is, when we have the study of the best practices and when we have the implementation of those best practices in our organization, it gains a strategic approach as well as operational and other financial advantage to our organization. And benchmarking is the continuous search. Yes, I was telling you at the beginning, it is a continuous search for and adaptation of the significantly better practices. All these things I have told you in nutshell. If you want to understand, it is the search for the best practices, it is the search for best innovative ideas, and it is the search for best operating procedures for our sector that we can borrow from others, that we can implement in our organization, so that the gap between ours, so that the gap between our practices and their practices are going to be closed. Once the gap is closed, we will stand as equal to them in the market. We will stand as competent as they in the market. Okay. Otherwise, sometimes it is possible for us to overtake them also in the market share or market gain. Okay. When we have learned all the things from them and we are adopting in a better way than they are doing, so we will we will grow better as compared to them also. Okay. With this, you have got to know what do you mean by benchmarking, and as well the definition of the benchmarking. Okay. But we'll have to understand what are the reasons. Almost I have cleared what are the reasons behind having the benchmarking. Many examples and mm, explanations that are given here about what is benchmarking, but I have cleared you what exactly is benchmarking. Here, let us try to look at the three features of main features of benchmarking. You can just go through. The first feature is being continuous method. Benchmarking is a continuous method of measuring and comparing companies' business processes against those for another firm. What business process we have got, those should be continuously measured as compared with the other company. That is the first feature. And the second feature is being discover performance gaps between one's own process and those of leading firms. It is very much similar to the earlier things. That is, the performance of ours and the performance of the other company are discovered, and the gap should be filled by having the own process developed. Okay. And third one is the incorporate leading firms processes into one's own strategy to fill the gaps and improve the performance. It is one and same, which is the leading company. Example I quoted Tata Motors for manufacturing of the automobile sector, and those processes that are followed by the Tata Motors must be incorporated in our company, so that the strategy of filling the gap is going to be improved. Okay. Operational definition not required. We are going to define the general definition. Let us go for reasons behind the reasons for benchmarking. Is it there or not there? Let me check. Yeah, I wanted to give you this. Okay. Uh, Here I have listed few of the companies. Toyota is known for processes. Okay, the companies related to the Toyota are as similar with Toyota. They may just look for Toyota for the exact process what they are following. Perhaps Toyota is the best in manufacturing vehicles, that is the passenger vehicles, lightweight or motors, light motor vehicles. In that, what is the process they are following is the best. So Ford may follow Maruti Suzuki and other companies, just Mahindra, Maruti Suzuki, Ford, other car manufacturing company may just look for the process that is followed by Toyota, because Toyota is the best in the processes for the car making. Okay, so Intel is a software provider, or that is software device manufacturer. Okay, the devices which handles and which monitors or like manages the software that are going to be produced by Intel, and the design of the Intel is the best. So other, like it may be Lenovo, it may be Dell, it may be other laptop or computer making companies may look for the Intel for its design, because Intel is best for the design. Okay, so Dell or Lenovo may be maybe comparing its performance of design with the Intel, so that they will come to know where they stand and how the gaps can be closed. And Motorola is not that known nowadays, but earlier it was known for the training it used to provide for its employee. So other company related to the Motorola may used to compare their performance with respect to the training they provide to their employee, as compared with the Motorola, so that they'll come to know where they stand, and they can uh, always import the inputs from the Motorola, so that they could fill that gap. And one more company is here, that is Scandinavian Airlines, that is well known, are best known for service they provide. Other airlines, maybe Indian Airlines or Qatar Airlines or some other British Airways, may follow the Scandinavian Airlines for the services. That is, when it comes to the service, it should be followed by Scandinavian Airlines. Okay, that kind of the benchmark they have set, and that can be used for us also. And Honda, it is a motor company. It is known for rapid product development. Other related companies like Honda, TVS, Suzuki, others can just look for Honda for the benchmark called as the rapid product development, because they are best in doing rapid product development. By this example, by this list, you are quite good. You have become little more comfort to define and to understand what they mean by benchmarking. Okay, and one more example I may give you. In in your class, one of the student may be best for one thing. Okay, that can be taken from him. One of the other student is best for something else. Shiri is best for singing song, or Srinivas is good in maintaining the discipline in the class and attending the college in time. And other guys are good at something. They are best at something. Like other guys, say for example, if one guy is not attending the classes regularly and he is not attending the college in time, they can just follow Srinivas. Like how he is doing that, how could be able to attend the class in very much in time, how he is able to attend everyday college. uh, they can study from them, and they can just have the input from the Srinivas, and they can also try to become more regular and become more on time. I hope you understood, right? This is what exactly benchmarking. And when I took the example of singing song, Shiri is good in singing song, in the sense how he is able to sing the song, like how he is practicing, what is the method he is doing, and how is he keeping his what voice or other things clear and lovely. All those things from another singer, like one more guy who is not that good as compared with the Shiri. They can be what fetched from him. They can be taken from him, so that they can also become like a Shiri, or they can also overtake him. Okay, that exactly what do you mean by benchmarking. Okay, I hope you understood what do you mean by benchmarking, right? And now next we will have to move up to what are the steps that are included here. The industries they have listed, that is relationship between benchmarking and industry type. Service and retailing industry is just see some 30% around. On the x-axis, the active benchmarkers are there. In the percentage, it has been listed. And you can see that utilities are there, right? Utilities are the most which are making use of the benchmarking technique. And health is also very important, because one of the hospital will have to follow the best hospital in the world, how they are doing, and what are the ways by which they are treating their patients. They'll have to follow others, and it is possible through the benchmarking only. So health sector is the most which is making use of the benchmarking. And you see the education also very qualitatively and quantitatively, I just took that example of our institute. Where do we stand as compared with the other institute in particular factors such as placements, research, and other things? So we can see that education sectors are making use of the benchmarking to a level of some 60 to between 60 and 80%, that is 70%. Okay, and governments also follows. It is quite evident for us how do government of Karnataka, government of Tamil Nadu, government of Andhra Pradesh, like the models of other government we may sometimes follow, so that we can also have the same breakthroughs and same achievements as they are able to do that. Okay, so governments also can follow, they also make use of the benchmarking to a percentage of some 60-62%. It is evident from this chart. Okay, it is made this one is from the gathered data from some research done in the UK. Okay, and many reasons I will just quote you before I move on to the next one. uh, in the PPT background, the PPT is little large. Just do stay with me. Yeah, why benchmarking? That is the reasons for the benchmarking. uh, you do not take me wrong, because I'm taking a lot of time for the benchmarking, and as we are in the last chapter, we do have only uh, the topics here, and the number of topics have been less in this module. The module, in every module we get to see 2 chapters, but in this module we have got only 1 chapter. Okay, and each of these tools or techniques what we have and what we are discussing are going to be in detail. So when we took today the benchmarking, I just told you the introduction of the, I just let you know what do you mean by benchmarking and the definition of benchmarking, and the background of also a little bit I had told you, and I just gave you the examples of which companies are best in what. From that also you can have a little bit more understanding of benchmarking. Okay, and now in a few minutes we just try to understand why benchmarking is required, what is the reason to use the benchmarking. Okay, and the first they have listed and stating is that survival, for the survival benchmarking is required. It is true, right? If we do not follow others, we may perish, because they are best, they are doing best. Example, when I am studying in my method, I'm able to get some good marks in the exam. If you do not follow me, definitely you are going to fail. That means you are perishing. So for your survival, being an organization, if you want to survive in the market, you have to follow the other best in your sector. Okay, otherwise you will lag, you will go behind. Okay, and benchmarking is time and cost efficient. For sure, when you are doing some processes which are consuming more time, as well as which is costing you more unknowingly, but if you follow your competitors process or competitors method of doing it, it will consume less time as well as it will cost you less. Okay, so benchmarking allows you to have the time and cost efficient. Okay, because it involves limitation and adaptations rather than